night baseball here at Miller Park in Milwaukee, and it's interleague baseball here this weekend. The Texas Rangers in first place in the American League West against the Milwaukee Brewers, and they are tailgating outside. It is a little cloudy and a little cool here today as the Brewers try to make it 2 in a row against the Texas Rangers. And hi, everybody. Brian Anderson from Miller Park. Welcome to our broadcast tonight on WMLW. We'll hear from Bill Schroeder in just a moment. You know, the Rangers are in town. It's the first American League ball club into Miller Park this year, but there is plenty of familiarity between these two clubs, and especially between the two managers, Ken Maka and Ron Washington. They go back together to the Oakland A's, and we had a chance at the beginning of the series to catch up with the two skippers and about their effect and their mutual appreciation for the other.
Well, I coached third base for Mark, and I was his infield guy. He's a very, very smart baseball man. He's well prepared, and I enjoyed the time that we spent together there in Oakland. And I think it was 4 years we spent as a coach. He was the bench coach there before he took over as a manager. He doesn't panic. He stays the course. He believes in his players, and I'm very happy that he was able to get back in the game.
I consider him a dear friend. It's just a relationship that's built all over those years that we were together. So wish him well, except for these next 3 days.
Well, Maka got the best of Washington yesterday, and his club breaking out the long ball sticks. 4 home runs in yesterday's game. We'll be back. We'll be talking about the home runs and where the Brewers rank when we continue on WMLW. By Toyota and your Metro Milwaukee Toyota dealers. By Oneida Casino. Get yourself in the game. Play slots, table games, and bingo at Oneida Casino. Fun is our game. And by the new Miller Lite Vortex bottle. Taste greatness. Crowd filing in Miller Park, expecting a big crowd here tonight, and a lot of home runs last night, maybe more of the same. It was Braun, it was McGee, it was Corey Hart, and it was also Prince Fielder. All the big boys went deep last night 4 homers in a 6-2 win. And now the Brewers have won 7 of their last 10 home games, Bill Schroeder. And now the Brewers kind of getting back to their identity a little bit. 76 home runs for the season. That is the best in the National League.
You know, going into spring training and to start the season, everybody knew that this team was going to hit a lot of home runs. They figured fielder for a bunch. Ryan Braun, those are the guys that you expect. But so far this year, it's been a few guys that you don't expect. Corey Hart has been really red hot lately. He leads the National League. We got Casey McGee, Ricky Weeks swinging the bat pretty well. So when these guys all start swinging the bats, good things are going to start happening around here.
Well, the offense has not been the issue. The pitching has, and the Brewers are getting good pitching lately. See if Manny Parra can continue that trend here tonight. It's the Brewers and the Rangers, and it's on WMLW. Stay with us. Roof is open on a cool, cloudy night here at Miller Park in Milwaukee. The Brewers and the Texas Rangers matching up for the second consecutive day. Ron Washington and his Rangers come in with just a half-game lead over the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim in the American League West. And here is Washington's lineup, brought to you by Toyota. Elvis Andrus leads off. Michael Young bats second, his .327 batting average. He is currently 7th in the American League. He's just 4 hits shy of a Rangers franchise record. Kinsler hits third. Hamilton, Smoke, and Murphy in the middle, with Trainer, Gentry, and Feldman rounding it out. Noticeably absent from that lineup is Vladimir Guerrero, who will start tomorrow, but not tonight. There's Manny Parra, Rock, his 21st appearance. This will be his 4th start, and hoping to build off his last start against the Cardinals.
Yeah, he was very good against the Cardinals. 5 in the third innings. He ran out of gas in that start against the Cardinals. 3 straight walks got him out of the ball game, but only gave up a couple of runs. Got that pitch count up to 101 pitches.
So Parra easing his way back into the starting rotation. His first pitch to Andrews is a strike. And away we go tonight. Gary Cederstrom is the home plate umpire. He is also the crew chief this evening. If there is need for a replay tonight on a boundary call, he'll be the one to make it. Broken bat, bouncer out to Weeks. And one gone for Manny Parra. That's how we get it started tonight.
Well, Alexis scouting report on Manny Parra. It's going to be his third straight start. He's got 4 overall, so hopefully he's going to be able to get a little bit deeper into the ball game. As you mentioned, 101 pitches last time out. Fastball command important. Rangers like to attack early, and that splitter with 2 strikes was very good against the Cardinals.
Now Parra coming off a bit of an historic start his last time out. He became the 50th pitcher in Major League history. You think about all the pitchers in Big League Baseball over 100 years. Parra became the 50th to strike out 4 batters in an inning, and actually had 7 strikeouts in a 2-inning span. Facing Michael Young here with 1 out in the first inning. Young trailing only Pudge Rodriguez in Rangers franchise history for hits in a career. Young needs 3 to tie him, 4 to surpass Rodriguez. He's also on a milestone for doubles. He needs just 2 doubles to tie Rodriguez as well. So he is on the doorstep of putting his name at the top of a very impressive list.
Now, every one of those guys have put together tremendous careers, and Michael Young started out as a shortstop, now over third base, goes line to line. He covers both sides very well. He got a double to left, double to right in last night's ball game. That's the only way you can put up numbers like he has been able to do.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Young. Count goes full, 3-2. Well, Texas has not been a good road ball club this year, and they showed it last night. The Rangers are 10-17 away from their home ballpark, but they've been so good at home they still lead the division. It's a big bouncer, and that is going to find a backhand stab by Escobar. No chance at Young, who almost rounded first base and was almost out on a tag from fielder.
Wow, what a play by Alcides Escobar. He got to it and just kind of blindly threw it to Prince Fielder. And as you mentioned, Michael Young started to round the bag and just barely able to get his foot back before Prince put the tag on him. Check this throw out by Alcides Escobar. You talk about an arm. Right on the money and barely able to get back is Michael Young. Well done. Nice play.
Yeah, close over there. Now, if he runs straight through the bag, he can clear the bag, and you don't need to return. But if he rounds it, then he's a hot item over there. As that one is driven into the gap. Kinsler into right center on the first pitch. And here come the Rangers right out of the gates with back-to-back hits and runners at the corners.
That's what we were talking about on the scouting report. You got to be careful. First pitch fastballs to every one of these Texas Ranger hitters. If they get a pitch early in the count that they like, first pitch, second pitch, doesn't matter. They are a very aggressive swinging ball club. You can see Ian Kinsler able to rip that one to the opposite field.
Well, offensively, the Rangers are among the American League leaders in a number of team categories, most of the major offensive statistics as well. And they have some big individual performances also this season, but the one big absence in their lineup, Rock, is Vladimir Guerrero, who's hitting .338 with 14 homers and an American League leading 54 runs batted in. Normally, he is their designated hitter.
And just not a guy that can play every single day defensively. They're planning on having Guerrero play right in tomorrow's ball game, but sitting this one out. They're also missing Nelson Cruz, another big bat that's on the DL.
Cruz expected back perhaps later this week. They do have Josh Hamilton, though, and he has had a hot month of June. Parra bounces one in. Kinsler is on his way to second. So a wild pitch from Parra takes the Brewers out of a double play opportunity here in the first.
Well, Manny used his curveball pretty well in that start against the Cardinals. Didn't throw it much, but waited till he had 2 strikes and tried to put it in the dirt. He did that time, and a nice block by Lucroy.
Lucroy getting his third consecutive start behind the plate. The rookie catcher. 1-2 to Hamilton. Another one bounces, and another good play back there from Lucroy.
Now, talking to Jonathan before today's ball game, he's starting to settle in a little bit. He's starting to get a little bit more comfortable each and every time he gets out there, and with comfort level comes confidence.
Lucroy throwing out a base runner at second base yesterday. Had his first big league caught stealing 2 days ago. I beg your pardon, threw out a runner at third yesterday. Strike called on the outside corner. Hamilton is rung up, and the second out of the inning. With 2 outs, let's set the Brewers defensively for you. Brought to you by Menards. It's Braun, Edmonds, and Hart in the outfield. McGee and Escobar on the left side with Weeks and Fielder on the right. Lucroy back in there for the third straight game. So 2 gone now. Parra picks up his first strikeout, and here is Justin Smoke. Smoke has been an enigma this year for the Rangers against left-handed pitching. You know, normally right-handed batters have more success against left-handed pitchers, just across the board. That's usually the way it goes. Smoke against right-handed pitchers batting .283. Against lefties, .085. He has just 4 hits in 47 at-bats.
Yeah, it's hard to figure. A lot of times you'll see the power numbers go down with left-handed pitchers out there, but batting average normally goes up. Maybe Smoke's having a tough time with pitches away, those sinkers that left-handers like to throw. He's not going to see any of those with Manny out there tonight. Manny doesn't throw a sinker.
Second and third for Texas here in the first inning. Parra trying to wiggle off an early hook. And another good play back there by Jonathan Lucroy. One of those things that does not show up in the box score, but Lucroy saving runs with every block at home plate.
And Manny Parra tied for the lead on the Brewers with wild pitches. That's because of that curveball and the splitter. So when he's out there and you're behind home plate, got to be ready for it.
The 2-1. 3 balls and a strike.
And the only pitch that you can justify as a catcher to get by you in these situations is the fastball. You don't really expect it in the dirt. Curveballs, splitters, you got to block them because that's where they usually end up.
Well, got to make a good pitch here. Hitters count on Smoke. A young hitter just promoted to the big leagues in April when Chris Davis struggled at first base. Former #1 draft choice for the Rangers. And he beats that one fair down the left field line. 2 runs will score. Smoke on his way to second base. And a 2 RBI double for Justin Smoke. And the Rangers have the early lead here tonight.
Yeah, fastball up and in, and with the hitter having to count in his favor, anticipating fastball, Manny not able to get it by him. That was 93 miles an hour. He tried to come in, he got it up and in, but you know, Smoke looking for the fastball on a 3-1 pitch, and then rips it down the line and left. Kind of interesting. He had first base open, had a 3-1 count, a left-hander on deck. And it really didn't look like they were trying to throw him a strike. That ball looked like it was off the plate, up.
The aggressive Texas Rangers, and Smoke has it cash in for him as he delivers the first 2 runs. And now it's Murphy. David Murphy in right field tonight for Vladimir Guerrero. He's normally their 4th outfielder, but he'll figure to get a lot of playing time during this stretch for the Rangers as they play the National League on the road this entire week. Three balls and no strikes on Murphy. Now, the first inning has been a nemesis inning for the Brewers starting pitching for sure. Last night, Chris Narveson struck out the side in the first. So a hurdle for him to get over last night.
Yeah, the only trouble innings for Narveson yesterday, who was brilliant against a very good offensive ball club. Second and third innings, he gave up single runs. That was it.
Another hitter's count. And Murphy takes ball 4. So a sluggish beginning for Manny Parra here in the first. And already the fourth base runner. 2 men are on, 2 runs are in. And it's Matt Trainer coming up.
Well, it's all about command. We talked about it on our scouting report. The fastball command, being able to throw quality strikes early in the count, particularly first, second pitch. Rangers very aggressive early in the count. They will not let a fastball go by if they like it.
Rick Peterson is out. Brewers pitching coach might have spotted something with Parra's mechanics.
You got to tip your hat to the Ranger hitters. They've been laying off that split-fingered fastball that's been down in the dirt. That's his strikeout pitch. There's those numbers for Narveson yesterday. Tremendous work. Only had 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Pitch count in terrific shape. 91 pitches through 7 innings.
Now Narveson improving to 5-3 with the win last night. As Matt Trainer swings and misses. Trainer already with a career high in home runs with 5. In the air to center field, playable for Jim Edmonds. And the first inning finally comes to an end, but the Rangers score twice. Brewers are coming to bat. His lineup to the plate against right-hander Scott Feldman. Lineup is brought to you by Toyota. Not only do the Brewers have the home run leader in the National League in their lineup in Corey Hart, but also the RBI leader in the National League with Casey McGee joining Troy Gloss at the top of the NL with a home run last night.
Well, Alexis scouting report on Scott Feldman. Throws a lot of cut fastballs. He's also got a fastball that runs, so a lot of heaters. That lacks the aggressiveness that he seemed to have last year, not attacking hitters like he was last year. Home run streaks, 6 of his last 7 starts, he's given up at least 1 home run.
Had a monster season a year ago. Scott Feldman won 17 games for the Texas Rangers. Made 31 starts. Feldman burst onto the scene a season ago. It's been a struggle so far this year, however. Ricky Weeks leads off for the Crew. He's back in that leadoff spot once again tonight. Pretty much the same batting order as what we saw last night. with the exception of Edmonds in there for Carlos Gomez, and of course the pitcher spot batting ninth. Ken Maka feeling like he might have found his two-hole hitter for now. That has been a spot in the batting order that has given the manager some fits this year. He's just tried to find that right combination. A number of players have been in that spot. But it's interesting that the home run leader in the National League is a two-hole hitter. You don't see that very often.
Not your prototypical two-hole hitter, and it remains to be seen how long that's going to last. But well, it worked yesterday. The Brewers able to put some runs on the board. Corey Hart has been hot for the last month.
Two and two on Ricky Weeks. And he's drilled. Weeks hit by a pitch. Speaking of league leaders, he is now the league leader in that category. He's been hit 10 times this year.
Well, Ricky stands right up on the plate, and a lot of teams feel as though they need to bust him inside with a fastball. Check this one out. Got him right on the hip. It could be worse places to get hit. And the Brewers have a leadoff base runner.
Weeks taking over the top spot from Prince Fielder. Two Brewers at the top of that list. And a couple of guys that opposing pitchers know they must pitch inside, which is why they get hit so often. So here is Corey Hart now with a runner at first. Hart with 17 home runs for the season, 41 driven in. He has now moved into the top 10 in RBIs in the National League, trailing his teammate Casey McGee and the Braves' Troy Gloss by 5 ribbies. There's a breaking ball strike.
Well, started him out with a cutter, then came with the curveball. Last year, I mean, the scouting report on Feldman was very aggressive. He threw a lot harder last year. Didn't rely so much on movement. You wonder why a guy feels as though he needs to change after winning 17 games. There's that good downward movement on that sinking fastball. It has more run than it does sink to go along with the cutter. So a lot of movement on his pitches this year, but he's been getting a lot of the plate with his pitches, apparently, with that ERA at about 5.7.
Now, Feldman made it to the big leagues as a reliever. His last start was against Seattle. He matched up against Cliff Lee and took the loss in that game in Arlington. Although the Rangers won 3 out of 4 from the Mariners in their last series. But Feldman came to the big leagues at the age of 22 and pitched almost exclusively out of the bullpen until 2008. And interestingly enough, he basically took the starting rotation spot that was vacated by Cameron Lowe. They dropped Cameron Lowe, now pitching for the Brewers, into the bullpen did Texas, and Feldman has been in the rotation ever since. Weeks takes off. Hart fouls it away. Count stays at 2-2. Corey Hart continuing his home run binge this year. He is the league leader in home runs per at bat. He homers about every 11 at bats, and he's had 3 on the homestand. And last night went to the opposite field, so he's gone all over the ballpark for his home runs on this homestand, showing you the kind of power he has to all fields.
Yeah, and every one of them seems to be the same. I mean, high, majestic, towering home runs. There hasn't been a lot of line drive home runs. You can see Corey Hart doing a pretty good job. 11 at-bats for every home run. Pretty good.
Full count to Hart. Rangers got 2 of the first on a Justin Smoke 2 RBI double. Weeks is off, and Hart fights another one away. And Ricky's getting in his wind sprints between first and second.
Feldman, one of those guys that likes to get the ground ball out. So you're at first base, and Ken Maka, you'd figure the Brewers are going to run a little bit. to try and stay out of the double play.
Born in Hawaii, Rangers drafted him out of high school in Burlingame, California. He was a 30th round draft pick and decided to sign. He's been a good find. So here he is at the ripe old age of 27, and he already has 6 years in the big leagues under his belt. Hart takes ball 4. So Corey Hart is aboard. A long battle with Scott Feldman, and the Brewers had the first 2 on here in the first inning. A hit, batter, and a walk. Here's how the Rangers line up defensively, brought to you by Menards. Hamilton, Craig Gentry in center with David Murphy in right. Michael Young, Elvis Andrus, Ian Kinsler, and Justin Smoke around the horn, and Matt Trainer catches Scott Feldman.
You see that last pitch, a perfect example of what we talk about when we talk about lack of aggressiveness. A 3-2 pitch, he goes with the curveball. I mean, he's got good movement on his fastball. Sometimes he doesn't trust it.
And now he has to face Prince Fielder, who belted his 10th home run last night to the opposite field.
Yep, 3-2. Ricky Weeks running again. He goes with the curveball. He's got too good of stuff on that fastball to be messing around like that.
Ken Maka puts his lineup together with the hopes that the top 2 get on base for the big sluggers, Fielder and Braun, and now he has it here in the first. Good speed on the bags as well for the Crew. And that one's high and tight. Count evens at a ball and a strike. Fielder cracked the seal on a home run, his first in a few weeks. Opposite field home run for Prince. Had to feel good for him. Well, Hart and Fielder went back-to-back in that 5th inning.
On consecutive pitches.
And the Brewers hit 4 last night for the game in a 6-2 win. All the runs came on the home run ball. Pulls that one to the right side. Kinsler to second for 1. And that's all they'll get. Fielder on a fielder's choice. Safe at first. Hart is put out 4-6.
Yeah, Prince just a little bit out on the end of this pitch. Might have been a changeup. Feldman will throw a few changeups, not too many. As usual, the second baseman shaded over into the hole with Prince Fielder at the plate.
Now 1 gone, and here's Braun. Ryan coming in just shy of 300 with the batting average. He was having a rough homestand. He was 0 for 11 on the homestand until he homered in the first inning last night.
That's been plate discipline for Ryan Braun. That's been the issue for Ryan on this homestand. Maybe pressing, not being able to come up with the long balls that like he would like. When he was in scoring position, though, he's been pretty good.
Braun now 1 for 15 on the homestand. But if there is such a thing as a hard 1 for 15, he's got it. Braun has driven in 5 runs on the homestand as well. Casey McGee would be next, barring a double play. Brewers would like to get those runs back quickly. Rangers scored twice in the first. A 2-out, 2 RBI double by Justin Smoke. Feldman was the Rangers opening day starter and the Texas pitcher of the year last year. He got a lot of ground ball outs last year in spots like this. Haven't seen quite the ground balls this season. At least the ratios don't bear that to what we saw last year, or what we heard about from Scott Feldman.
Probably because he's really not trusting that sinking fastball. He's been throwing a lot of cutters. That's really not a ground ball pitch. The curveball is not a ground ball pitch. Ryan Braun just missed a hanging curveball on that last swing.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Braun. Comes in 4th in the league in hits with 72. He trails Martin Prado of the Braves by 12. And a bouncer to short. Andrews to second. The turn by Kinsler in time. A double play. Well, the Brewers sitting there with 2 on, and Fielder and Braun coming up, and they come up empty.
Trusting that sinking fastball got Ryan on a 2-hopper. And Ian Kinsler able to make the relay and check out this throw. How close does this come from Prince Fielder? Look out, Prince. You know, middle infielders are taught you don't adjust your throw based on where the runner is. I mean, Jim Gantner always told me that baseball, when you turn a double play, is a weapon. You throw it, no matter where that runner is, it's his responsibility to get down. And Prince just barely missed getting hit with that baseball.
Now the Rangers, the fewest double plays. Only the A's have turned fewer double plays than Texas, but that's Feldman's MO when he's right. And the Rangers getting out of a jam in the first. 2 on to start the inning. And Fielder and Braun making outs, and the inning ends.
You know, my first year in the big leagues, remember UL Washington with the Kansas City Royals?
With a toothpick.
Yeah, I was at first base. I forget who hit the ball, but I got down there about 3/4 of the way, and I didn't think I was going to be sliding anytime soon. That baseball was coming right between my eyes. And didn't I look silly in a pile about 3/4 of the way to second base? That's what infielders are taught to do. You can't adjust your throw based on where the hit runner is. Once you hit one guy between the eyes, I mean, you get the reputation. Guys are going to get down.
And that's the goal, to make sure they get down. Fielder almost tempting Kinsler to fire the baseball, trying to get the run to score any way possible at that point. Fielder wasn't quite in the spot where he could start a slide yet. I'm sure Prince would have just dusted it off.
Yeah, it would have been a run.
2 balls, 2 strikes, a count on Craig Gentry. And Parra strikes him out. So Manny with his second strikeout.
Now the breaking ball was a good pitch for Manny in St. Louis. That's a dandy right there with 2 strikes. Going straight down, getting Gentry way out in front. Hey, remember, Father's Day is just around the corner, so enlist Dad in the 2nd annual Brewers Baseball Boot Camp on July 18th. Learn about this rare opportunity at brewers.com/bootcamp.
Scott Feldman, the Rangers pitcher, at the plate. Throws right-handed, but he bats lefty. And a little flare. Easy play for McGee in foul territory. 2 quick outs for Manny Parra, who could use a quick inning here in the second. Now, the pitcher hitting for the Texas Rangers certainly disrupts what they like to do. They like to have the big boppers in there, specifically with Vladimir Guerrero as their DH. And without Nelson Cruz, as you mentioned, they're without two big bats basically every other day. Ron Washington has stated that he doesn't want to allow Guerrero to start every day. Feels like every other day is going to be a lot to ask as it is.
They're in a rough stretch in the National League. 9 consecutive games starting with last night's ball game. So they're going to have to rely more on their pitching staff, which has been pretty good so far this year. In the upper half of the American League in team earned run average, and their bullpen responsible for a lot of that.
Now the Rangers are headed to Florida next. They'll take on the Marlins, and then they have the Texas Interleague Series with the Houston Astros. But all in National League venues. Ron Washington's club lost 2 out of 3 to the Cubs in the first round of interleague play, and they've lost 3 straight against the National League at this point after the Brewers won the game last night. Full count to the talented young shortstop Elvis Andrus.
A good pitch by Manny, a 3-1 split-fingered fastball for a strike. Let's see Manny throw too many of those.
And Andrus chases one there. He's been a good hitter. Andrus, 301 batting average to start the day, has 19 driven in. Just 21 years of age. The Rangers gave him the keys to the shortstop position last year as he bangs one through for a base hit. He's having a good series. It's his second hit. And a 2-out base runner against Manny Parra.
Yeah, he makes a lot of contact. He doesn't strike out a whole lot. He doesn't walk much. Always puts it in play, and able to get a hanging curveball that time from Manny and find the hole in the left field. It's one thing they'd like to see more of Andrus. A few more walks. On base percentage not very good, but of course he's only 21. That'll come later.
He's stolen a lot of bases this year, Andrus. He has 18. But he's been caught a lot as well. And we'll see how eager the Rangers are to put him in motion with Michael Young at the plate. Andrus has such good speed. A double can score him, and we saw that last night. Young drove one down the left field line. Andrus has been caught 9 times. That is the most in the American League. His 18 steals, 7th best.
Still trying to learn moves, and very difficult sometimes with a pitcher you've never seen before to get that move. Going to be important for Manny tonight. All these Rangers like to run. Keep an eye on those runners at first base.
One and two on Michael Young.
Back-to-back changeups. He doubled up on the changeup that time, and very good location. Both of them on the outer half. Nice pitch. Good arm action on it. Looked like a fastball, but just choked it off.
Ball at 2 strikes with 2 outs. Andrus looks like he wants to run. He stays put, and Young lays off. Good block back there by Lucroy again. And the count evens at 2-2. Lucroy's been busy already. It was just 2 seasons ago that Manny Parra led the National League in wild pitches with 17. Mostly because of that split finger fastball. The 2-2, and Young bounces one to short. Escobar, a tough hop. He comes up with it and gets the out. What a play that was. Had one chance to get it in the glove. Escobar put it right in the spot. Great hands. Improvement needs at Menards. And by American Furniture, Electronics, and Appliances. Bring it home. 2-0 Texas as we head to the bottom of the second inning. She must be serenading him. That's nice.
Yeah.
Go to the ballpark, get serenaded by your wife.
Nothing better than that.
All right. Casey McGee leads off.
Is he enjoying it?
I think he is. But once the inning started, you know, enough's enough, right? Part of a good crowd here at the ballpark here at Miller Park, Milwaukee. McGee rolls one out to Michael Young. And one gone here in the second. So the ground balls are coming for Scott Feldman. He got a key ground ball with Braun at the plate last inning. And an inning-ending double play. The 3 consecutive ground balls that have led to outs for the 6-6 sinker baller. Always fun to celebrate a birthday at the ballpark. Where else would you want to be?
Right. And a pig snout at the ready whenever you might need one.
I'm sure there's a story behind it. I say if you're gonna break out the snouts, you just wear them. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, it's serving no purpose around the neck.
Right. Tough to breathe.
Now the Brewers would like to see Jim Edmonds get going a little bit at the plate. Starting in center field tonight with the right-hander on the mound. It was Gomez last night against Rich Harden, who incidentally was placed on the disabled list today by Texas. Rich Harden went on the disabled list with a strained glute. You ever strained a glute, Rock?
A glute? That's the rear end muscle, isn't it?
That's right. Gluteal strain officially. And Alexi Ogando was promoted from Oklahoma City.
The gluteus maximus. And some of us have more maximus than others.
Anyway, not to make light of Harden's injury, but he is on the DL, and now a question arises for the Rangers: who will fill that spot in the rotation? And it might come from one of their relievers, Matt Harrison, a left-hander. as Edmonds takes a called strike 3. So Feldman, 2 quick outs here in the 2nd inning. Well, CBS 58 News always has your most important news and your full, complete first alert weather in the first 10 minutes. Tonight at 10, turn to CBS 58's 10 at 10 News for just 10 minutes as your most important news and full weather is always first. Named the best newscast by the Associated Press and Wisconsin Broadcasters Association. Here's Lucroy now with 2 outs. Lucroy batting .261, has 6 hits in 23 big league at-bats. In his first season in the major leagues, we have seen him the last couple of years in spring training. So he's not a brand new face to the ball club, and he seems to have settled right in.
Pitchers seem really to become more comfortable with him every time he goes out there. George Kataris right now is, at least for the time being, the odd man out. They just want to see, what Lucroy can do, get a little bit of a comfort level for him. You may see George in the lineup tomorrow. A couple of very inexperienced catchers for the Brewers, and they're working night and day to try and get up to speed on not only the National League but their own pitchers and now the American League.
Ready for a 2-2 pitch. Lucroy to the right side, and it eats a live smoke. And Lucroy will settle for first. That one took a big bounce. And that will go as a base hit for Jonathan Lucroy. So a single for the Brewer catcher.
I think Jonathan was thinking about second base until he got kind of caught in his footwork trying to tag the base at first. It eats him up down the line. Now watch Jonathan as he goes around. He kind of stumbles a bit. I think he's able to catch that bag clean. I think he tries to go because, with 2 outs and nobody on, you hit a ball like that, you try your best to get into scoring position. He would have loved to have gotten into second base, but right there is why he stopped at first.
Might have expected a collision with Scott Feldman, who is ranging over from the pitcher's mound. At any rate, he's at first base for Escobar. Brewers have back-to-back rookies in their starting lineup here tonight. Escobar has been here all season. Saw a little bit of him last year in September. Hit over 300 in the big leagues last year. He's at .246 coming into play today with a couple of home runs. Lucroy takes off. Hit and run is on. The throw to second, not in time. So a Brewers catcher steals the base. And Lucroy ends up at second base regardless.
I think that caught everybody by surprise. Scott Feldman very slow to home plate. Matt Trainer so far this year throwing out base runners at a 21% clip. Now historically that's not very good, but these days 21% I guess not too bad. Catchers have had a tough time throwing out base runners this year. All over baseball.
First steal for Jonathan Lucroy in the major leagues. Now a base hit will score a run as Escobar takes a curveball. Escobar had 2 hits last night. He was 2 for 3, a couple of singles. Best arm in the Rangers outfield is in left, Josh Hamilton. And the 2-1, and that one hit the umpire.
Ouch.
Lucroy to third base. Looked like Trainer was crossed up, and that caught Gary Cederstrom flush.
Yeah, obviously crossed up. Matt Trainer never got a glove on it, and it hit Gary Cederstrom right in the head. Looks like Gary's all right. He's got a big smile on his face. Dan Wright going to come out and take a look at him. Right around the jaw on that mask. Boy, that'll shake you up. And Matt Trainer gets crossed up. Check it out. He never moved his glove. Cool. Man. He must have been looking for a curveball right there.
Tell you what, caught a piece of his jaw, his shoulder. If he was at the state fair, he'd be in the water right now.
Wow.
It's a wild pitch that advances Lucroy to third base. A 3-1 count, and Escobar takes ball 4. So the Rangers content to deal with Manny Parra, Brewers pitcher, who is coming up.
Been dangerous behind home plate. I mean, that's the second time we've seen that happen. One time to John Hirschbeck, and that happened when the pitcher was warming up. He had to leave the game, John Hirschbeck.
That's right. He was just getting a look. That was Chris Narveson, wasn't it?
Right.
Back on May 20th.
Man, there it is. That bingo, that was in Pittsburgh.
And Hirschbeck, he ended up staying in for that inning, that half inning, and then had to leave the game. So keep an eye on Cedarstrom here. He's got that new style hockey mask. It's supposed to deflect some of the energy from the baseball. Maybe that's why he's still staying.
Yeah. Doesn't have as much padding, but it's supposed to, when it hits, kind of a glancing blow, and maybe that's why it didn't affect him too much, at least right now. Tough man.
He's a hockey player. First and third, see if Parra can continue the trend of Brewers starting pitching. Escobar takes off, and a throw to second base is high. So 2 steals in the inning, and Mike Maddox was on his way to the mound before Escobar even slid in. He has spotted something he does not like with Feldman.
And got to control the running game. And now a base hit from Manny Parra, and now he's down 3-0 in the count. In danger of loading the bases for the top of the Brewers order. And a good job by Escobar to get into scoring position. Never really gave him much attention. Escobar had a huge jump.
And there are the 2 young Venezuelan shortstops, Escobar and Andrews, good friends off the field. That meeting at the mound had the feeling of a game plan that was gone over and not executed, as Mike Maddox did all of the talking there. So second and third, 3-0 is the count on Parra. 3-1. Parra can swing the bat a little bit. He has 10 extra base hits in his career. Has never had a home run in the big leagues. But a 183 career average. Not bad for a pitcher. Ball 4. Parra draws the walk. The 3rd walk already for Scott Feldman. And the bases are loaded for Ricky Weeks.
Sometimes when you just want to try and throw a strike, that's the toughest time to do it. Aiming the baseball, apparently, Mike Maddox, Ron Washington not very happy about that. And now Ricky Weeks coming up with the bases loaded.
Now the Brewers trying to cash in a mistake by Feldman. All of this started with 2 outs. Lucroy had a single. Remember, it was a ball that ate up Justin Smoke. Rolled up his glove. Been a hit, 2 walks, and 2 stolen bases, and a wild pitch. All with 2 outs in the second inning. Weeks has been good in spots like this. A .356 batting average with runners in scoring position. And a little half swing. He cuts through. It's 1-1.
Both pitches right on the inside corner. The first one missed. That last one right on the edge.
Still looking for his first career grand slam, Ricky Weeks. And it gets jammed. A ground ball to Kinsler. Makes a play for the out. Feldman gets out of it. The Brewers strand the bases loaded in the second. 2-0 Texas. 2 on with nobody out in the first, could not score, and stranding the bases loaded with 2 outs in the second. Failed to score as well. We head to the 3rd inning. The Rangers lead it 2-0. 2 RBI double by Justin Smoke put the Rangers on the board in the first. Here from the Czech Republic to watch the Brewers here tonight. Welcome to Miller Park. Fun for everyone, wherever you're from.
Nice crowd tonight.
Going to be the largest crowd of the homestand. The Brewers took 2 out of 3 from the Cubs to start the homestand. And Milwaukee has won 3 consecutive home series. They've won 7 of their last 10 home games after beginning the year, dropping 14 of their first 18 home games. So a good sign. Maybe things are turning around for the Crew. They start the day 8.5 back of the Reds in the National League Central, 9 games under 500. Parra back on the mound. Ian Kinsler leads off. Kinsler singled and scored in the first inning. Another guy who has very good opposite field power. Kinsler has been slowed by an ankle injury this year. Was on the disabled list in April.
You talk about a 1-2 punch, a shortstop and a second baseman when Michael Young was at short. Those guys can drive in some runs.
Well, Manny Parra strikes him out, picks up strikeout number 3 as he gets the first out of the 3rd inning.
Manny's had much better command. There's a slider that time. He broke that slider out to Kinsler, got him to swing over the top of it. So he's got all 5 of them going here today. Fastball, the split, the changeup, the curveball, and the slider.
Josh Hamilton swinging away early. Parra struck out Hamilton looking in the first inning. Goodness. Who was that over there? Randy Wolf? That was a little dramatic, I thought. That ball bounced off the screen there, and Randy Wolf. That was a full-fledged panic button is what that was. I mean, come on, watch this. So there's a screen in front of the fence. Now watch Randy Wolf.
Almost knocks himself out trying to get out of the way.
Here's another one, Randy. Look out, Randy. Look out.
Same spot.
You're safe. That might have been the combination of being lost in deep thought and then realizing a baseball's coming at you.
A little bit startled, right?
That actually hit the bat. Hamilton didn't get the bat down, and it hit the bat for a foul ball. What are the odds?
I've seen that happen where the ball ended up in fair territory. He ducks, hits the bat, foul ball.
And that is a live ball if it is in fair territory.
Yeah.
Got to get the bat down. In and out of the glove of Lucroy. Count evens at 2-2 on Josh Hamilton. You be the judge.
Yeah, it looked like he was able to hold up, and another good job by Jonathan Lucroy to keep it in front of him.
Parra delivers, and Hamilton fights another one off. Long at bat here. Hamilton now in his 3rd year with the Rangers. Had that breakthrough year in 08. Traded between the 07 and 08 season for Edinson Volquez. Volquez went to the Reds. And Parra puts a fastball right by him. He reached back a little bit that time. 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's back-to-back strikeouts.
Yep, 9-pitch at bat, and Manny wins the battle. Middle in was supposed to be away, but steady diet of curveballs and splitters and pitches like that blew the fastball right by him.
4 strikeouts for Manny Parra. And here's Justin Smoke. Smoke delivered the big head of the first 2-out, 2 RBI double. He's hit with some power this year. 6 homers, 24 runs batted in. And Smoke was not called up to the big leagues until late April this year.
Yeah, he's shown a good eye at the plate. Got that on-base percentage at around 350.
Out in front, 1-2.
You talked about Smoke having trouble against lefties. That might be the pitch that's been giving him trouble. He's been handling the pitches in on him from Manny. That changeup away, way out in front.
Popped him up, shallow left. Another off speed from Parra. And Braun's got it. Best inning of the night for Manny Parra. 3 up and 3 down with 2 strikeouts. Scott Feldman back on the mound for Texas as we head to the third. Corey Hart leads off. And a breaking ball to get it started for Feldman against Hart. The Brewers have had their chances. Had 2 on in the first, had the bases loaded in the second, and have come up empty twice. Boy, that one caught Gary Cederstrom again. A breaking ball that was bounced, and that one stung him a little bit more than the last one.
Matt Trainer is going to go out there and have a fake conversation with his pitcher to allow Gary Cederstrom to collect his thoughts.
That would be the definition of the breadbasket, would it not? Wow.
I know how it feels.
It's been a rough night for the crew chief tonight. This was earlier. Caught him in the shoulder. And a moment ago in the gizzard.
There's padding there. Still hurts. Knocks the wind out of you a bit.
Matt Trainer, the Rangers catcher, an extended visit with his pitcher just to give Cedarstrom a little extra time. Here's the 1-1. And a Hart out in front of a breaking ball. 1-2 to count. Lots of interleague baseball tonight. The only non-interleague matchup is the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks. A little bit later tonight in Phoenix. Actually, that game's just underway. Cardinals won last night. Cincinnati leads the Central Division. St. Louis is a half game back of the Reds. Another ground out. Kinsler takes care of Hart. And all of the outs on the ground with the exception of the strikeouts here tonight.
Hey, voting is now open for the 2010 All-Star Game in Anaheim. Help send your favorite Brewers to this year's game by voting up to 25 times at Brewers.com. Vote early and vote often. Vote today at Brewers.com.
You can vote up to 25 times per email account. And we hope you vote Brewers and vote often. Prince Fielder, an all-star last year at the plate. Fielder, the home run derby champ a year ago. Not having an all-star season this year. His numbers aren't bad. 10 homers, 22 ribbies. He's second in the league in walks as well. But to make an all-star team at first base in the National League, you've got to really put up the gaudy numbers when you consider hitters like Pujols, Adrian Gonzalez, Ryan Howard. Now 2 more days to punch the all-star ballots here at Miller Park.
I think if you talk to Prince Fielder, I think the only number that he's posting right now that he's a bit disappointed in is that RBI total, 22 RBIs. It's not so much the home runs for Prince, it's the run production, driving in runs. He scored 37 runs. He's driven in 22.
That'll head for the seats. Count remains at a ball and 2 strikes on Fielder.
Up amongst league leaders in on-base percentage. Here's Prince Fielder.
And you've got Fielder and Vladimir Guerrero, both home run derby champs. You also have Josh Hamilton, who stole the show in the home run derby in 2008. That was a competition that was actually won by Justin Morneau, but of course Hamilton was the star of that home run derby at Yankee Stadium. And Fielder down on strikes, so chases the curveball. 2 up and 2 down for Scott Feldman. Certainly was a memorable coming out party for Josh Hamilton. It was his first year as a Texas Ranger. He'd had a great season leading up to this, and then the incredible 28 first-round home runs in the home run derby at Yankee Stadium.
It was amazing how far most of those home runs went. It's one thing at the 28 home runs that he hit. I mean, that's an amazing thing in itself, but the distance that he was able to get on it. I mean, absolute bombs, just about every one of them. That stuff tires you out.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk to anybody that's competed in that. You know, Abreu had that, big round. Mm-hmm. Sammy Sosa here at Miller Park, he said he was gassed after one of his rounds.
Well, Ryan Braun was an all-star that year. That was his first starting nod in the outfield. Corey Hart, an all-star as well back in 08. Abreu's big home run derby came in 05, and he really went into a tailspin at the plate after that. As Braun goes down the line, that's a fair ball. Hamilton gives chase. He's got a great arm. Braun will ease into second and settle for a double. So Ryan Braun with a 2-out double puts another Brewer in scoring position against Scott Feldman.
Well, Ryan got one of those fastballs in. It seems as though Scott Feldman and Matt Trainer are trying to establish inside on these Brewer hitters. Ryan able to pop the hips open and get the barrel of the bat on it for a 2-out double. He's really trying to establish that inside corner. He's been getting a lot of jam shots from the Brewers so far.
A 2-out hit. Second hit for the Brewers. Lucroy has the other. Now Braun at second for Casey McGee. By the way, that double by Braun, his 18th of the year, and Ryan jumps into the top 5 in the National League. Jason Worth leads the league in doubles with 24. Braun's second hit of the homestand. See if McGee can drive him in here. 2 outs with a runner at second. Ball and a strike.
Man, trying to bust everybody inside, but the first 2 pitches to Casey have been away. Casey handles that pitch in on him very well.
McGee homered last night against Harden, one of the 4 Brewers home runs. It was Casey's 10th. And that one's down the line, just foul. Got out ahead of it. And the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes on McGee.
Man, it was a hanging curveball. Casey just couldn't wait back long enough to keep it fair. Got the head of the bat out on it. That was a mistake by Feldman, and he got away with it.
The Brewers have stranded 4 thus far. Left the bases loaded last inning. Braun with a 2-out double. And McGee hits one sharply. Look at that play by Andrews. In time for the out. Wow. Slick fielding Rangers shortstop Elvis Andrews. And the side is retired. The Brewers strand another base runner. 2-0 Texas. And you can see why Andrews might be headed to the All-Star game this year. Our Heiser Automotive game reset. Justin Smoke in the first inning with 2 outs delivered the only runs of the game, had a 2 RBI double. Scott Feldman pitching well, but he's been in some trouble the first 3 innings. He's managed to get out of it. 3 scoreless innings for Feldman. Meanwhile, Manny Parra After allowing the 2 runs in the first, settling down. Manny now with 4 strikeouts, 2-0 Texas. Interleague baseball here at Miller Park this weekend. And the first place Texas Rangers. Parra to face David Murphy to lead off. Murphy, Trainer, and Craig Gentry due up for Texas. And a part of the batting order that you must control against this dangerous lineup.
You know, you don't see a whole lot of this American League. I mean, the American League teams, you go through the National League day in and day out. You hear about some of these good players, but that play by Andrews, that's got to be as good a play as it gets. I mean, 21 years old, a backhand play like that, nice soft hands, and the arm to back it up. He looks like a good player.
Just makes it look easy. Andrews is the 2nd youngest player in baseball right now. Rick Porcello is the youngest, and that was the same last year. Andrews only 21. But he has a bit of star quality to him for sure. Makes plays. He's hitting for average. He's stealing bases.
Seen some good young shortstops in this homestand.
Boy, I mean,
Starlin Castro, Escobar, we see him every day, and now this young man.
Murphy hammers one to center field. Back goes Edmonds, still on the run. At the track, he's got it. Speaking of making it look easy, Jim Edmonds runs right to the spot for out number 1.
Yeah, you never know if it's a home run or he's just going to go back on it and make a catch easily. He makes you think you might have hit a home run. I mean, he plays very shallow. He does a nice job going back, taking his eye off the baseball. He's always done that, and even at 40 years old, he missed last year, still makes that play as easy as anybody.
He plays a very shallow center field, but he has this amazing knack, and maybe more so than any player that's played the position, or at least he's up there with some of the best. His trainer sends one to left. Easy play for Braun. And 2 outs in the inning. Subway trivia: which team did Bill Schroeder get his first major league hit against? All right, it's a good one.
I know that one.
But anyway, back to Edmonds. You know, he runs right to the spot. He just knows where it's going to be, and that's really the skill in the position.
That's the experience and the instincts. That's where that comes from.
And because he has that skill, it allows him to play shallow, which, you know, he and Gomez do it in very different ways. Both are terrific center fielders. Gomez just does it with athleticism and speed.
Yeah. Well, Gomez might not get jumps on the baseball like Edmonds would. You see Jim Edmonds up there at the top of your screen. I mean, he plays very shallow as anybody. Isn't as fast as he used to be, but never takes a bad first step. He always seems to know where that baseball is going to come down.
Well, Parra strikes out Craig Gentry, a little half swing for the punch out. And the inning is over, so Manny picks up his 5th, and he has retired 7 straight. what you thought?
That's exactly right. My third at bat.
Off Danny Darwin, and it was a triple. And unfortunately for Bill Schroeder, that was the last triple he ever had in the big leagues.
Yeah, well, the first one I had, we've told this story a number of times, but, you know, Davey Garcia, third base coach, had the hands up, stop at second. I was saying, I can't stop. I'm so excited. I kept going about halfway to third base. Ball hit me in the back, and I got my one and only triple. Had I not gone, I'd have never had a triple.
And now it's history, and you did it against the Texas Rangers. Your first caught stealing was against the Texas Rangers. I mean, this is kind of a sentimental series for you, I would imagine.
I had a tear in my eye.
Jim Edmonds leads off. Down a strike from Scott Feldman. That's good trivia. You still have your first major league hit?
I do.
And
where, the baseball.
Where is it occupied?
In the garage with the rest of my memorabilia. No, actually, I have a little room down in the basement.
Shrine? You got a little shrine?
Yeah, the shrine. It's the emptiest shrine of all time. But, yeah, I still have it. It's my first home run ball, too.
Who was that against?
Al Williams, the Minnesota Twins. First homestand back at County Stadium.
Edmonds hits that one well into left field, and Hamilton is going back. That one bangs off the wall. Edmonds into second. The throw comes in late. That's a double. And a good start for the Crew. They are wrapping out some extra base hits here in the last 2 innings.
Well, second time the Brewers have had their leadoff hitter aboard. First inning hit batter by Ricky Weeks. And look at Edmonds taking that ball to the opposite field. Does that very well. Not a lot of movement at all with that front foot. Just picks up that heel, turns the knee, and rips that one off the base of the left field fence.
Edmonds already with 12 doubles in just 36 games this year. And he's at second. See if Lucroy can advance him to third at least. Hopes to drive him in here in this fourth inning. Yeah, Feldman just pounding him inside once again.
Yeah, watch the front foot of Edmonds. He just turns that knee in. The heel goes up. The toe never does come off the ground. Nice easy swing, and he's got excellent opposite field power. A lot of his home runs throughout his career have come to left field.
Now a chance for Lucroy to drive in his first big league run. 2-0 Texas. And Lucroy to the right side. Smoke makes the play, but Edmonds to third base. So Lucroy with a productive out. And now the Brewers with a runner at third and just one away for Escobar.
And one of those situations where you're the number 7 hitter, you know the 8 hitter's coming up, first base open, and then the pitcher, until you have 2 strikes, you like to try and drive the ball to the opposite field to try and drive in that run. Check out Lucroy. Looks like he's just serving the ball over toward the right side. Gets the job done. 1 out for the number 8 hitter.
So here is Escobar now.
You see Lucroy really trying to take that ball to the opposite field. The knob of the bat leading the barrel. They call that an inside out stroke, and is able to get the ground ball to the right side.
That's the kind of thing that'll keep you in the lineup, especially if Escobar delivers the run. And a little bouncer. Feldman looks the runner back, throws to first in time. Yeah, so Escobar grounds out. Rangers had their middle infielders back. They were going to concede the run, but a little tapper, not enough. And Edmonds still at third base.
Yeah, Feldman continues to get a lot of mileage on the inside corner. You know, both with the curveball and that sinker. Check it out. Alcides getting eaten up inside. That was a fastball that time. Jonathan Lucroy jammed himself on a curveball. That's what I was talking about with Jonathan's at bat. I mean, you just don't want to give yourself up in certain situations. I mean, with 2 strikes, a little bit different. Until you have 2 strikes, we know the 8 and 9 hitter coming up. You try and drive the ball to the opposite field. Try to get that extra base hit and drive them in yourself.
Now it's up to Parra again. Manny was at the plate with 2 on in the second, and he drew a walk. That almost hit him, or did it? I think Manny was looking at Gary Cederstrom, saying it caught his jersey a little bit. Not a bad sell.
That dangerous coming inside to the pitcher. If it did, just barely. Gary Cederstrom saying, "You call that getting hit? I'll show you getting hit."
Twice. I'll show you twice tonight.
Right.
So 2-1 the count. Jim Edmonds at third base. Heads up for a wild pitch, perhaps. And Manny had a good cut. Count evens at 2-2. The Brewers are in danger of stranding a leadoff double. A lot of base runners left so far tonight. And that one is strike 3. So Parra strikes out. The Brewers let a leadoff double get away. 6 stranded through the first 4 innings against Scott Feldman. Well, you've dreamed it. Now we invite you to go for it. Brewers Fantasy Camp can make your big league dreams come true. The 2011 Fantasy Camp runs from January 30th through February 6th at Brewers Spring Training, Maryville Baseball Park in Phoenix, Arizona. For more information and registration, call 262-679-3612 or visit brewers.com/fantasycamp. Dream big at the 2011 Brewers Fantasy Camp. Well, that 2011 kind of strikes you as odd, doesn't it? That's what it'll be next spring, however. Big crowd on hand at Miller Park. Not much to cheer about thus far. The Brewers have 3 hits, but they have failed to score, and they've stranded 6 on base. Seems like Feldman has been in big trouble. He's had a man in scoring position in every inning, but he's gotten out of it. And now Feldman hits here against Manny Parra. Meanwhile, Manny Parra, after giving up the 2-run first inning, has settled down and pitched well. He's retired 7 straight. Brewers are 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position.
And the Texas Rangers, their only opportunities with men in scoring position came in the first inning. Manny Parra has settled down nicely.
Two and 2 to count on the Rangers pitcher. Only has 9 career at-bats. Did have a hit last year. in interleague play. Actually, 2 years ago he had a hit. Last year he was 0 for 5 in interleague play.
That's a big strike zone up there. 6'7", 230 pounds. You'd be surprised he doesn't throw harder than he does. He's got it up to about 93 today. That's it.
2-2. And he rips one foul. Turned on a fastball from Parra. You see a fastball pulled like that, it's pretty much a guarantee. The hitter has made up his mind he's swinging. Able to fight off a curveball. Parra has been as fast as 95, and that curveball as slow as 75. And that corkscrews Feldman, and down he goes. I'm not sure if it was a swing or a called strike, but it might have a chance to make a blooper reel.
It was both. Well, I think it's going to go down as a swing and a miss.
Oh boy,
A lot going on there, but strike 3.
so I'm going to call that a swinging strike 3, just for the scorebook purpose. 6 strikeouts. As Andrews drops a bunt down, Parra, what a play! Returns the favor to the slick fielding shortstop.
Yeah, that's a beauty. That ball gets by Manny. It's a base hit. In no way Ricky Weeks is going to be able to make a play on that. Idea is to get the ball by the pitcher. Once you do that, it's a base hit. But Manny able to jump off the mound and make the play. That's a nice play.
Well, Manny Parra, 2 quick outs here in the 5th inning as Andrews is retired. And here comes Michael Young. Young extended his hitting streak to 7 games with an infield hit in the 1st. Michael Young, a former batting champion in the American League. Oh, good curveball there from Parra. Ball and 2 strikes on Young.
He's really done a nice job, keeping these hitters off balance. Pulls the string on the changeup. His curveball's been pretty good.
Got him. Hit the corner, did Parra. And Young is out, 3 up and 3 down again. That is 10 in a row for Manny Parra as he strikes out Young on the changeup. even the home plate umpire in the crosshairs tonight. 2-0 Texas, a first inning score for Texas, and that's been it. Brewers getting good pitching now from Manny Parr after that first inning. Scott Feldman has been able to wiggle off a hook in every inning. He stranded the bases loaded in the second. That was the best chance the Brewers had to score. At least multiple runs for Milwaukee, but the Crew stranding a pair of doubles in the last 2 innings. Now back to the top of the order, Ricky Weeks. Third time through the batting order as well against Scott Feldman, whom the Brewers have never faced. Only Carlos Gomez and Joe Inglet have hit against Scott Feldman. Neither one of them in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, Joe Inglet was going around the batting cage during batting practice, giving a bit of a scouting report on Feldman. And he did indicate that he's not afraid to come inside with that sinker, and he's done that tonight.
And Weeks turns on one. That one is down the left field line. Hamilton gives chase. Ricky Weeks in the second with a double. The third consecutive inning the Brewers have had a double. And for the second straight inning, it's a leadoff double for the Crew.
Well, the difference is top of the order up, and now you got the home run hitters coming to the plate. Well, if you're Ricky Weeks and you're facing Feldman today, you got to figure he's coming inside. Feldman left that one out over the plate and ripped it down the left field line.
And the crowd standing for Ricky Weeks, his 500th career hit, a bit of a milestone. An appreciative Miller Park crowd. They've been anxious to cheer, and Ricky gives them reason to. Might be the most boisterous applause for the 500th hit in a career I've ever seen.
Right. As you mentioned, they're looking for something to cheer about.
That's good for Ricky.
The nice thing about Ricky Weeks, he had no idea he was even close to 500 hits. He was looking around. He was wondering what they were cheering for. He looked at the scoreboard and, hey, 500 hits.
Hey, nice.
Okay.
I mean, not exactly like Robin Yount's 3,000th, but you get the idea. You got to get to 500 before you can get to 3,000.
Yeah,
you know
Ricky's not into that stuff. He really isn't.
Weeks takes off. Trainer's throw to third, and it's in time. Weeks trying to steal third base. Trainer cuts him down. Wipes out a leadoff double. That's a big out on the bases.
Yes, it is when you have the National League home run leader up. Yeah, Ken Maka likes the running game as long as they're safe. Well, the Brewers now 2 out of 3 so far tonight. And there is a big caught stealing, a perfect throw by Matt Trainer. Right on the bag. Nice throw, and Ricky an easy out of third base.
Well, the Rangers bullpen was beginning to stir out there with Weeks at second. Feldman in the stretch. But once that out was made at third, the bullpen has stopped, and Feldman back in the windup against Corey Hart. 3-1 the count on Corey. Yesterday it was the Rangers who ran themselves out of an inning with a caught stealing at third base. Lucroy gunning down Julio Bourbon. And Hart is down on strikes. So coming back from 3-0, Scott Feldman strikes out Corey Hart, second out of the inning.
Hey, when you're traveling this season, you can take the Brewers with you. With MLB.TV Premium, you can enjoy HD quality, home and away coverage, multi-game view, and the ability to pause and rewind live games. Visit Brewers.com to order and to get more details. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere.
Well, Prince Fielder 0 for 2 at the plate. He was up in the first inning with 2 on, rolled into a fielder's choice. Feldman struck him out his last time up. Feldman has made the pitches when he's needed to tonight. And Fielder's first at bat, a good example of that, as Prince chases one.
Yeah, that curveball's been giving Prince some problems. That's the pitch that he struck out on his last time up.
One and 2 on Fielder with 2 away. Trying to backdoor him. Count evens at 2-2. Ryan Braun is next. One of the reasons Maka put Fielder in the 3-hole was to hopefully get him some better pitches to hit, with Braun waiting next. And Feldman strikes him out. So that little cut fastball on the outside corner. Promising inning to start. Ricky Weeks, his 500th career hit. It was a double, and his caught stealing wiped the inning out. On WMLW is presented by Usingers. Usingers in baseball. It's just not summer without them. And by the new Miller Lite Vortex bottle. Taste greatness. Tonight, following the game, stay tuned to WMLW for the final out. Your up-to-the-minute post-game report. Right here on WMLW as Kinsler rolls 1-2. Escobar, one gone. Well, Manny Parra is rolling right along here. Now hoping his offense can pick him up a little bit. Parra has retired 11 straight since Elvis Andrew's single in the second inning. And he's given up just the 1 hit since the first inning, when he allowed 3 hits and 2 runs to the Rangers.
And 14 out of 15 since that first inning trouble that he had. Doing a nice job. He's been throwing strikes. He's got 7 strikeouts, only 1 walk.
Starts Hamilton with a fastball. First pitch strike's a good story for Manny Parra. He's only missed on 5 batters, 17 first pitch strikes to the first 22. Well, those are good numbers as well as he goes through the third time. At this point, third time through the order, they are 0 for 3.
He's been able to locate his fastball, and his off-speed pitches have been very good. His changeup has been better than his splitter tonight.
Hamilton into center field, and that one is way, way back there. Josh Hamilton hits one out, and the Rangers add to their lead. It is now 3-0 Texas. Hamilton's 14th of the year.
Well, Manny Parra blew his fastball by him for a strikeout back in the third. Tried it again, and nothing doing this time. Hamilton able to get the head out and knock it way back to center field. Good extension and a no doubt home run.
When Hamilton hits them, they usually stay hit. Has huge power, and Hamilton makes it a 3-0 Texas lead, extending his hitting streak to 9 games after Parra had struck him out the first 2 times up. Smoke had the big double in the first inning that drove it a pair. And out in front, and he caught a piece of Jonathan Lucroy. And a strikeout for Manny Parra, but the umpire and the catchers are wearing a few here tonight.
Yeah, well, the backswing from Smoke after the split-fingered fastball getting by him. That's why you wear a helmet. He had the regular cloth cap on. We're seeing stars.
Listen here.
Oh, I mean, that got him solid right on the barrel.
So 2 outs for David Murphy. Parra has 8 strikeouts after that punch out on Justin Smoke. Good fastball, well located, 2-1. Hamilton continues his hot June. Parra's had a good tempo tonight. He's working quickly. That has been an issue for him in the past. A little bit different setup under Rick Peterson on the mound. Kind of a hybrid between a pitching from the stretch and pitching from the windup as he walks David Murphy. And here comes Rick Peterson. Parra used to take his glove over his head from the windup. It's one thing that Peterson has gotten him away from. Just kind of wants him to be a little more quiet, a little more still in the windup position.
Well, whatever he's doing tonight, keep doing it. And he's had as good a command of all of his pitches tonight as he's had all year. Now, this outing reminds you a lot of the outing that he had right after coming up from the minor leagues last year. On the attack, good location with his fastball, and all of his other pitches down in the zone for strikes. He's only made a couple of mistakes. That home run to Josh Hamilton and that 3-1 fastball to Smoke. Other than that, he's been terrific.
Got to tip your hat to the Rangers. They have cashed in on those mistakes. It's a good hitting club. Matt Trainer with 2 away. He's 0 for 2. Just threw out Ricky Weeks at third base. And a big caught stealing. Right now the bullpen is quiet. Stan Kiles, the bullpen coach, going through some orders. 2 balls, no strikes on Trainer. Runner goes. And the pitch is inside for a ball. Lucroy not even bothering with a throw. Murphy got a great jump.
Not a very big lead, but a good jump. You know, Manny down in the count 2-0, not worrying too much about it.
Lucroy wanted to make sure he had a chance at a strike. Called a ball. It's 3-0. That one's in there. Parra over the 100 pitch plateau. He's at 102. Rangers have a man in scoring position with 2 outs. Can't afford to go down anymore. Ball 4. So back-to-back walks. And that's usually a sign that Manny Parra is nearing the end. This is very similar to what happened in St. Louis.
That's exactly right. He was throwing very well against the Cardinals in St. Louis, and then in the 6th ended up walking 3 batters. Pretty much spelled the end of his night. The Brewers would win that ball game. David Risky getting loose in the bullpen.
Parra went 5 1/3 against the Cardinals. So now McGee coming to the mound. Buying a little extra time for Risky in the bullpen. Parra last time out threw 101 pitches. Struck out 10 St. Louis Cardinals, and at one point had 7 strikeouts in 2 innings. Actually struck out 4 batters in an inning after a wild pitch allowed a base runner. 2 outs. Here's Gentry, and that gets away from Lucroy. So a wild pitch. Boy, this is not shaping up well here for the Brewers. Now what do you do? Do you put Gentry on and face the pitcher?
And you wonder if Ron Washington would go to the bench and get a pinch hitter. This bullpen for Texas has been very good all season long. And that wild pitch allows the runners to advance.
Well, Scott Feldman has been pulled back. Not sure if that's for decoy purposes or not. Pitcher spot due up next. That one is hit in the air to center field. Edmonds will ease under it. So Parra went after him. The inning is over. The Rangers do score a run. Josh Hamilton goes deep, and it's 3-0 Texas. Feldman has had base runners all night, but he still has a 0 on the board. 5 shutout with 5 strikeouts. Manny Parra cruising along after that first inning. At one point it retired 11 straight, but Josh Hamilton, a home run into left center, his 14th of the year, made it 3-0 Texas leads it as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning, and a new team in town. They don't know. And Matt Trainer, look out. Sausage races. They've been known to wipe out a few catches.
Yeah.
Incidentally, won by Chorizo here tonight.
Not much of an effort by Polish.
Seems like he's been a little lethargic lately, I have to be honest. Trainer just had his catching life flash in front of his eyes by a giant 10-foot sausage.
Thought he was in a bad dream. Chased down by a massive sausage.
The numbers on Feldman. 3 walks. He's hit a batter. He's given up 4 hits. The Brewers have had 8 base runners in the first 5 innings and have come up empty. Braun, McGee, and Edmonds, middle of the order for Milwaukee here in the 6th. It has been a battle for Feldman this year on the road, an area where he was so good a season ago. Last year, Scott Feldman won 12 of his 17 games away from Arlington. But he has struggled away from Rangers ballpark in Arlington this year. Tonight, he's working on a 4-hit shutout.
Well, it's not just Scott Feldman. The whole team has struggled away from their home ballpark. And a pitcher's success will pretty much mimic the entire team's success, either home and road.
Ball and 2 strikes on Braun. Now the Rangers know that if they are going to make a run in the American League West, Scott Feldman has to be a big part of it. He was their opening day starter. He has pitched poorly this year, an earned run average over 6 over his last 7 starts. But he looks like the old Scott Feldman here tonight for Ron Washington. Just missed. 2-2. I think the Rangers are certainly in the market for a free agent pitcher or a possible trade. They're still trying to get the sale of their ball club worked out, and that should be worked out here in the next month or so, they hope. Right now, a group led by Nolan Ryan is ready to purchase the Texas Rangers. Major League Baseball currently owns the Rangers and operates the budget for Texas. So as soon as they can get the sale to go through, they feel like they can start to hit the trade market. As Braun lines one to right, Murphy makes the catch. Well hit ball by Ryan Braun, but it's run down by David Murphy.
And talk about, Ryan struggles here on this homestand, but a lot of times he's been hitting the ball pretty well. I mean, he hit that one right on the nose, but David Murphy able to make a nice play. It looked like the ball was trying to slice away from the right fielder, but Murphy got a good jump on it and was able to haul it in. Pitch middle away, and nice play out there in right. So a little bit of frustration for Ryan Braun. That would have been a triple if that ball got by him.
And the Rangers glad Murphy's out there instead of Vladimir Guerrero. Here's McGee. He shoots one to right, foul. One name you continue to hear concerning the Texas Rangers in pitching is Roy Oswalt of the Astros. Oswalt has a full no trade clause, but Texas is one of the teams that he has stated publicly he would waive the no trade clause for. Bouncing ball to second. Kinsler makes a play for the out. 2 outs. So get ready for more Milwaukee Brewers action on WMLW. Next Saturday, the Brewers travel to Colorado. They'll take on the Rockies, and WMLW will bring you the game. Brewers baseball on WMLW at Colorado next Saturday. The game is on us. Brewers headed on the road, facing Jim Edmonds' former club, the Angels, and then the Rockies. 6-game, 7-day road trip coming up. Brewers are trying to make a good homestand, a great homestand. They've won 3 out of 4 on the homestand thus far. Gallardo is on the mound for the Brew Crew tomorrow afternoon against Colby Lewis, who's evolved into the Rangers ace. Almost hit Edmonds.
Yeah, Feldman just trying to keep him honest, knowing how good Edmonds is at taking the ball to the opposite field. Just want to make sure he's not leaning. And Jimmy able to get out of the way.
Now the Brewers will wrap up the series with the Rangers tomorrow, and then it's off to Anaheim. Fox Sports Wisconsin for all 3 of the Angels games, a day off Thursday, and then it's to Colorado. And it looks like right now the Brewers are going to miss Ubaldo Jimenez, which is a good thing for the Milwaukee offense. But at 12-1, that might have been something interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, you always like to see the best the National League has to offer, but you're right. I think the hitters are fine with that. That guy's been something else.
12 wins, 1 loss in 13 starts, including a no-hitter, Ubaldo Jimenez. Edmonds strikes out. Best inning of the night for Scott Feldman. 1-2-3 with a punch-out. Is presented by Heiser Automotive Group. Heiser Automotive, where anything's possible. Visit Heiser.com. And by Feltco Windows, Siding and Doors. For quality windows, siding and doors, call 866-4FELTCO. Nice night for baseball here in Milwaukee. The roof is open, and our Miller Lite What's on Tap. Final game of the series tomorrow. Yovani Gallardo, the ace, back on the mound tomorrow in the matinee. And then Monday, the Brewers will take on the Angels, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And it's quite a dogfight between the Rangers and the Angels in that American League West. Feltco call to the Penn Rockets. David Risky on for the second time this year.
Yeah, his first time out was tremendous after a couple of years on a disabled list, not able to stay healthy. Finally back healthy, pitched a scoreless inning, including a strikeout against the Cubs. Well, he had a nice split-fingered fastball in that outing.
Joaquin Arias will pinch hit for Texas. That's been the best news of the night. Scott Feldman, just 105 pitches. Looks like he's cruising along here, but taken out after 6 shutout innings. And the bottom of the order coming up next for the Brewers. A little bit of a surprise. So Arias pinch hits, and the Brewers will deal with the Rangers bullpen, which has been outstanding all season.
And I think that's one of the reasons why Ron Washington really doesn't hesitate to pull his starter. His bullpen's been tremendous.
Risky, a strike.
Yeah, that team run average that we talked about, that's in the upper half of the American League. A lot of it because of that bullpen, his relief corps. They've all been very good.
Aaron Oliver will be next.
Notice how quiet it is around here tonight. No planes flying over.
Too cloudy for planes.
Yeah, they had to cancel the air show today.
Too bad.
Hopefully it's going to be nice tomorrow.
Yeah, I hope so. They put a lot of time and effort into that Blue Angels air show, or the Angels are involved in the air show, and can't fly tonight, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Arias pops it up. Lucroy will give it a look back in the seats. Well, it's a great time to be in this town. You start getting into June and July, August. No better place to be in the summer than Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Weather's great, a lot going on, festivals everywhere. And of course, Brewers baseball. School is out. It's been nice spending a little time with, the visiting broadcasters and the Texas Rangers broadcasters in Miller Park for the first time, and some of their traveling party, and just raving about the ballpark, the facilities, the hotels, the downtown.
Right.
It's good to hear.
I was downtown today, and it was a lot of activity, a lot going on downtown.
Arias into center field. Edmonds will track it down. And one gone. So Manny Parra goes 6 tonight, Rock. He gives up 3 runs against the Rangers.
Well, he walked 3. 2 of them came in his last inning. 8 strikeouts, 3 walks. He only allowed 5 base hits. Unfortunately, one of them a home run to Josh Hampelman. So back-to-back very good starts for Manny Parra. Just didn't have a lot of support offensively tonight.
And the Brewers offense hoping to take him off the hook. Parra is on the hook for the loss right now, but he's pitching well. Parra with 8 strikeouts, he just seems like he's on the verge of turning into a dominant left-handed pitcher. And he's been that way for the last couple of years.
Well, he located his fastball very well, and all of his off-speed pitches were working for him. Every single one of them. The splitter, the changeup. I think he had one of his best changeups tonight. His curveball, he really didn't make many mistakes with.
Top of the order, Elvis Andrus. 1 for 3 tonight.
But if you're Manny Parra, what are you thinking? I mean, you're thinking it wasn't a very good outing because you're down 3-0. You get some offense behind you. You're up 5-3. It's a much different mentality sitting in that bench.
Right.
It's about wins and losses at this level. You can pitch, real well. It's all good. But if you don't get the W, it doesn't really mean much to you.
Risky trying to hold serve here, coming out of the bullpen, and a strikeout on Andrews. So David Risky punches out the Rangers leadoff hitter. 2 outs here in the 7th.
One of the few pitchers that throw the split-fingered fastball for a called strike. It's by design. He uses it a lot like his changeup, or he uses it a lot like other pitchers would use a changeup. Right at the knees. Not many pitchers can throw that splitter and want to throw it for a called strike. David Risky can do it.
Risky had Tommy John ligament replacement surgery in his elbow last year. His last game for the Brewers was in April of last season, early April. Matter of fact, it's the first series of the year. He's had the procedure done. Now he's back throwing strikes once again. He pitched his entire 2008 season with a torn ligament in his elbow. Tried to work through it, tried to pitch through the pain.
Didn't have much velocity on his fastball. They tried to get him to throw a slider, and that made matters worse for David. And basically now a 2-pitch pitcher once again, just like he was with the Royals.
risky when he's right. A strike thrower. That's what's been amazing about coming back from surgery like he has. He's been able to command so well through the minor leagues. I think that's what impressed the Brewers enough to bring him up at this time. That one is hit high in the air to left, playable for Braun. And David Risky, a 1-2-3 inning. Bottom of the order coming up. The Brewers have some work to do. He has 43 ribbies now and continues his hot hitting in the month of June. And that has been the scoring, 3-0 Texas as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Scott Feldman is out. He was pinch hit for after 6 shutout innings. And now it is the veteran Darren Oliver, who is the last Texas Rangers pitcher to ever win in Milwaukee. He did that at County Stadium back in 1997.
And doing a very good job coming out of the bullpen. Look at those numbers. 29th appearance tonight, a 1.53 ERA. A lot of strikeouts for Darren Oliver, who's always had the big stigma of a guy that can't throw strikes.
Lucroy sends one down the line. Over to cut it off is Murphy. They had him guarding the line over there, so it's only a single. But Lucroy with his second hit. And the Brewers have a leadoff base runner once again tonight. That's the 4th time the Brewers have had their lead man aboard.
Yeah, doing a nice job slicing that inside the first baseline. And as you mentioned, David Murphy really shading the right field line. And the only reason why Lucroy wasn't able to get into second base.
See if the Brewers can do something with it. Escobar, pitcher spot is due up next as Escobar tries to bunt. Ken Maka has Carlos Gomez in the on-deck circle. And this is an opportunity here with a lot of speed at Escobar and Gomez to maybe get something going for the big hitters coming up. The 23-year-old Escobar against the 39-year-old Darren Oliver. Now in his 17th year in the big leagues.
He's bounced between the starting rotation and the bullpen, and has certainly found a home as a reliever this year. There's Capuano getting loose. Been a while for Cappy. Hasn't been down on the mound since his start against the Marlins.
Capuano, the 13th man on the pitching staff right now. It's kind of, I guess the best way to put it, in a holding tank for a starting pitcher. Maka sees him as a starter, would like to have him as a starter. But Capuano had an out clause in his contract, and he's in the big leagues, and he'll just try to stay sharp in the bullpen for now until there is a need in the starting rotation if one should come up.
And those 13 pitchers really handicap you when you try to make moves coming off the bench. I mean, Gomez is on deck. He is the only right-handed pinch hitter available to the Brewers. The other three left-handed.
The 1-2 to Escobar, and it's just off the plate. Count evens at 2-2. By the way, that hit by Lucroy, that snaps a string for the Rangers bullpen. 16 consecutive batters retired they had posted over the last 3 games. Rock mentioned how good this Texas bullpen has been. Lucroy's hit wiped out a long streak. Impressive one at that. Now Escobar, a little flare foul. Hanging tough. Count stays at 2-2. Crowding him inside once again. No secrets with Oliver. He's been able to command well. Left-handed pitcher who has bounced around in his career. This is his 8th big league team, but his 3rd tour duty with the Texas Rangers. He came up with Texas, then pitched for him at the beginning of the decade, and now once again. Ground ball to short. Andrews to second. The turn, and it is in time. Boy, wow, killer. A double play. Kinsler has such a strong throwing arm at second.
He does. I didn't think there was any way they were going to be able to turn 2 on that ball. I mean, Escobar runs very well. It wasn't hit all that well. And Andrews gave a very slow underhand feed. I didn't think there was any way they were going to turn 2, but look at that arm from Kinsler. It's one of those that you would have thought that Andrews would have gone overhand with it. I guess when you get jammed, it takes you a while to get out of that box, and they got him by half a step.
Big double play turned by the Rangers. Brewers just unable to get going offensively. Credit the Ranger pitching staff. Gomez pinch hitting here. Well, the last time Darren Oliver won here in Milwaukee, the last Rangers pitcher to do so, he was a starter.
How about that? 23 games over 500. I mean, that's a pretty good record. When you get a guy around that long and he's that many games over 500, that's a pretty good career. It's amazing how long these left-handers can stick around.
Oliver had been with the Angels the last 3 seasons. He's found a home in the American League. As Gomez fouls it away. He was in the big leagues at 22 with Texas, and still at it at age 39.
As a reliever, he can pretty much go with his 2 best pitches, the fastball and the slider. Been effective against lefties throughout his career. Right-handers have handled him pretty well. As a starter, really never was able to come up with that consistent 3rd pitch, but still remained effective.
He's pitched in the postseason with the Mets for Willie Randolph and with the Angels. He was on that Mets club in 06. As Gomez pops it foul, that's playable for Smoke, and that is the inning. We head to the 8th, and it's still 3-0 Texas.
Call 414-902-4000 or visit Brewers.com for tickets.
That's getting late here at Miller Park. The Brewers down 3-0 as we head to the 8th. And Chris Capuano is on the pitch for Milwaukee. Ken Maka ideally would like Capuano to finish this one out here tonight.
Kind of good to see Chris Capuano and David Risky back-to-back in this ball game. Two guys that have spent an awful lot of time trying to get back to the big leagues, and both have successfully done that. You know, first time out for Capuano, only able to go into the 4th inning against the Marlins and gave up 3 runs.
Well, Capuano is coming back from a second ligament replacement surgery, the Tommy John procedure. So they have to be very careful with Capuano. His last appearance in the big leagues prior to his start against the Marlins was September of '07. Capuano is back. You could not have imagined that Capuano and David Risky would both be on the big league roster this season when the year began.
Yeah.
And a testament to their work ethic.
Yeah, nobody really talking about either one of them in the hot stove, and you can't blame them. I guess everybody wrote those two guys off except for those two guys. I mean, they knew at some point they were going to be able to get back, and here they are.
Especially Capuano. Very few come back from a second Tommy John as Kinsler bangs one into left. His second hit and a leadoff single for the Rangers.
Yeah, Chris Capuano's always had a very good move to first base. This running Texas Rangers ball club going to have a tough time running on Capuano. And remembering Capuano back in the old days when he won 18 games with the Brewers, the cut fastball was his most effective pitch. Cut fastball and a good changeup.
Well, we talked to Maka about any concerns he might have using Capuano out of the bullpen. And like I mentioned, ideally, as you see Frankie Francisco loosening, ideally he'd like Capuano in the starting rotation, but Maka feels the 5 that he has in the rotation have earned that spot. Capuano is in the backup role basically, but he's pitching out of the bullpen, and he has about a 20-pitch routine that he uses to get ready to pitch in a game, even if it's a start. So as long as they're diligent with Capuano and give him time to go through that routine, then they feel like they can use him in the bullpen. But obviously that creates some issues in a tight ball game when you need to make a quick decision.
Right, and I think that the Brewers would rather not have 4 left-handed pitchers in their starting rotation. You've already got Wolf, Narveson, Manny Parr's done well. If you add Capuano, that's a lot of lefties.
Yep.
So right now you've got Gallardo, Dave Bush, and the 3 lefties.
There's 2 of them right there, Randy Wolf and Chris Narveson. So Capuano will do what he can to keep his arm strength up out of the bullpen. Runner takes off, and a swing and a foul by Hamilton. I think ideally Ken Maka and Rick Peterson would like Capuano pitching, starting in AAA. But Capuano had the out clause in his contract. If he wasn't put on the major league roster by the 29th of May, he was basically a free agent. So that's why the Brewers had to make a move. They feel like there's plenty to work with there with Capuano in his comeback. So Capuano strikes out Josh Hamilton. First out of the inning.
And it took a little bit off on a pitch away from Josh Hamilton, his 3rd strikeout, but a home run in between. Actually, that was a fastball right on the outside corner, well located, right on the outside corner. Lucroy holds it right there for him.
One going for Justin Smoke. You know, and all that being said about the comeback and the out clause, and Capuano is just happy to be pitching again. I mean, he is ecstatic and has a new lease on his baseball life. He said while he was down for those 2 years and going through rehab, he realized how much he loved the game.
Yeah.
Kind of became too much of a business for him. A Smoke sends one deep to left. Braun is back. Looks like he's got room. And that's out number 2. Kinsler tags. So Kinsler ends up at second base on the long fly ball out to left field.
Well, some guys just don't get a second chance, let alone a third chance. I mean, one Tommy John surgery, I guess you change your perspective a little bit. He had another when he got married. He's got a family, so things have changed for Capuano. Baseball is not the only thing in his life, and he's enjoying it a lot more.
Facing David Murphy here. That is a big runner to leave stranded at second base for Capuano. The Brewers fighting an uphill battle already, down 3-0. And the Rangers basically with 2 closers at the back of their bullpen in Francisco and Neftali Feliz. Murphy's been on twice. He's walked twice and stole a base.
The Brewers being very careful with David Murphy tonight. Down in the count is Capuano 3-0 to Murphy. He's already walked twice.
That one is ripped off the glove of Escobar and into center field. Another run will score. So Kinsler's base running move, the tag at first, pays off. Murphy drives in a run, and it's 4-0 Texas.
And it goes after a 3-0 pitch. Capuano throwing right down the middle of the plate. Ron Washington gave him the green light, and he knocked in a run. Now why not? Lefty versus lefty. He's already walked a couple of times and swings away and drives in the run.
Now Matt Trainer.
That 3-0 pitch, you can see right down the middle of the plate. Escobar tried his best to smother it and keep it in the infield. If he was able to do that, the run would not have scored. And Kinsler running pretty well.
Trainer pops it up. Escobar wants it. And that's the inning. But the Rangers tack one on. They get a run of the 8th. Good base running by Kinsler leads to the run. Now the Brewers will send up the top of the order, including Prince Field. Burdett was represented yesterday by his 3 daughters. Burdett was a member of the Braves from 1953 to 1963 and played a key role in the 57 World Series championship team. As he went 3-0 with a 0.67 ERA, he was the MVP of the 57 World Series, and congratulations to the Burdett family. Well, Lou passed away a few years back, and it's great to have his memories in the Walk of Fame. Frankie Francisco is on the pitch. He was their closer last year, saved 25 games for the Rangers a season ago, began the year as the closer, but then Neftali Feliz pitched so well that he took over that role from Francisco.
Yeah, he's still a big strikeout pitcher. 26 innings for Francisco and 34 strikeouts. He does have 2 saves on the year.
Top of the order, Ricky Weeks, Corey Hart, Prince Fielder. The Brewers need base runners. Trevor Hoffman getting loose. Looks like he'll have the 9th. 4-0 Rangers. They have tacked run-ons. They got one in the 6th on the Hamilton home run, and then the RBI single by David Murphy with 2 outs last inning. Weeks has been on twice. He doubled his last time up, his 500th career base hit. But in a key play in the game, he was thrown out trying to steal third. Feldman came back and struck out the next 2 hitters, Hart and Fielder, to end the inning.
Yeah, normally when you steal third in that situation, down by 3 runs already, you better make sure you're going to make it, particularly when you have 2, 3, and 4 coming up. There's that changeup from Francisco. He's got a good fastball, about 94 miles an hour, and a changeup. That one just dropped off the table.
Francisco will be a free agent at season's end. Now setting up for the man who took his job, Feliz. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Weeks. Count stays at 3-2. Well, you figure there'll be some activity for Francisco this offseason. It's not that he's not a capable closer any longer, but Neftali Feliz has been so good. Rangers wanted to give him a shot with backup as Weeks hammers one into the gap in left center, and that one is high off the wall. And Weeks on his way to second with a double. That ball was blistered into left center field. And a leadoff double here in the 8th.
Now the Brewers really haven't had problems getting leadoff base runners. 3 times now doubles have led off an inning. In the 7th, Lucroy led off with a single. You can't hit a ball any harder than that. Fastball right down the middle. Yeah, nice short stroke by Ricky, and maybe a foot from hitting that one out of the ballpark. Bingo, right off the top of the wall. And yet another leadoff double for the Brewers.
Just missed a home run. Now Corey Hart, it puts Francisco in the stretch with a runner behind him, and Hart takes a ball.
Yeah, that's more like a split-fingered fastball. That pitch, not a change. That's not a straight change. That's a splitter.
Hart had a big cut. Ball and a strike. Well, Corey Hart, since May 15th, he has had the hottest home run bat in baseball. Jose Bautista leads all the baseball in home runs with 18, but Hart one behind him now with 17. He had 14 of those home runs. 14 of his 17 since mid-May. Hoping to keep it going here against the Rangers. 2 balls and a strike on Hart.
Well, it's been Corey's ability to lay off pitches out of the strike zone, and because of that, he's been able to work the count in his favor and get pitches to hit, and he hasn't missed them.
Hitters count for Hart. Weeks at second base. 2-2. 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, four-seamer coming right at Corey Hart up in the zone. And behind it.
He was a closer until late April. Brewers trying to put a run on the board for the first time tonight. As Hart lines one to center. And it's going to be caught. Weeks cannot tag. Corey hit it well, but right at Craig Gentry. And the first out of the 8th inning. So here comes Prince. Homered last night. Opposite field home run against Rich Harden. Number 10 for fielder. His 22nd run batted in. Tonight, Prince is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts.
Yeah, having a base hit here. Break the seal. Brewers have had a tough time getting on the board. They were held scoreless the last 3 innings in last night's ball game, and have yet to score tonight.
All right, so fielder with Weeks at second. Brewers down to their last 5 outs here against the Rangers. That was a big run the Rangers scored in the top of this frame. Prince just a tick off. You can just tell by his tempo. And good pitching will do that to you as well.
Yes, indeed. They've been making some pretty good pitches on him. And Prince has been a little over aggressive at times this year. Now there's the straight change. You start him out with a curveball, then the straight change. And Dale Swain keeping a watchful eye on Prince. Keep an eye on that toe tap. That's the key to Prince's success. Got to make sure that foot is down before he starts his swing.
Prince trying to get on board for Ryan Braun. The Brewers need base runners here, down 4-0. Well, you'd like to get the fire burning a little bit with this big crowd. Nearly 40,000 in attendance. Gallardo is up tomorrow. Prince chased one, and it's a ball and 2 strikes.
And 94 miles an hour. You can see where the trainer wants it. He wants it up around his shoulders, and got it there, but Prince able to hang in there.
Waiting for a mistake. The 0-2. Fielder fouls another one away. The way to the finish line for the Rangers is Francisco to Neftali Feliz. It was kind of the Rangers version of Carlos Marmol. a flamethrower in that closer's role. Got him. Fielder strikes out. Second out of the inning, and the third strikeout for Prince Fielder tonight.
And all coming on the curveball. 81 miles an hour from Frank Francisco, goes straight down, and Prince has had a tough time laying off that pitch all night.
Now Rangers pitching with 7 strikeouts on the Brewers tonight. Feldman had 6. And now Francisco with his first. 2 outs in the inning. Weeks still at second base. And here's Braun. Brewers have had a ton of base runners tonight. 6 hits, 3 walks. Been a hit batter. 10 base runners this evening. Rangers have turned 2 double plays. The Brew Crew had a runner thrown out at third base. And a caught stealing.
Just haven't been able to come up with that big hit. They were looking for the big hit in each of the first 4 innings to get on the board. And it didn't happen.
0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. That has been the story tonight. Brewers had 2 real good opportunities early. Sometimes the key moments in a ball game are in the first few innings. Brewers had 2 on with nobody out in the first inning and could not score. And then they had the bases loaded in the second and failed to score. Well, Braun in a hole here, 0-2. A base hit will score Weeks from second. Casey McGee would be next. Trainer's done a nice job back there as well. Good clinic on catching tonight, blocking balls between Luke Roy and Matt Trainer.
Yep, got to be able to do it if you want to be a major league catcher. Can't block the ball, you got no chance. That's a prerequisite.
And with a lot of pitches in the dirt tonight, a lot of split finger fastballs between these two staffs. Saved a lot of wild pitches. 1-2 the count on Braun. Another one down in the dirt.
You just have to anticipate it. Every time you call a split finger fastball or a curve ball, you got to be ready to get down and get on your knees and block it. That's some kind of conversation right there. Deep.
Braun, a hot one past Michael Young. Weeks will score. Ryan Braun on his way to second base. So the Brewers are on the board. It's 4-1 Texas. A rocket from Braun past third.
Yeah, Braun probably saying, you know, about time. He's been hitting the ball hard a lot of the times on his homestand and coming up empty, hitting him right at somebody. Hit that one right at Michael Young, almost knocked his glove off.
It'll go as a double for Braun, his second double of the game, as he whistles one past the Rangers' third baseman.
Yeah, fastball down and in. Easiest pitch for a hitter to get to, even at big velocity. Pitch down. A reaction play by Young, not able to come up with it.
Now see if McGee can hit one out. Brewers are finally on the board here in the 8th inning. A 2-out double by Braun. McGee is 0 for 3. He was robbed of a hit by Elvis Andrews back in the third. A sparkling play from the Rangers shortstop back then. A base hit scores another one. Neftali Feliz, the Rangers closer, begins to get loose. For now, it's Francisco. 2 outs in the 8th. Strike.
Casey, looking at that split right there. That pitch right down the middle.
Got a fastball from Francisco. Five doubles tonight. Brewers have just 1 run on the board. Braun has 2 of those doubles. The Rangers have used Feliz in the 8th inning before. Quite often, as a matter of fact. Francisco might be a hit away from heading to the clubhouse. As Casey strikes out, Feliz picks up a big strikeout with a runner at second. He does give up a run, but the Rangers still lead it 4-1 as we head to the 9th. Well, the Brewers have gotten their hits tonight, but they've stranded a ton of base runners, scoring for the first time in the 8th. It's 4-1 Texas. Brewers have left 7 on, and Trevor Hoffman will handle the 9th for Ken Maka. Chris Capuano pitched the 8th inning, gave up a run on 2 hits, and now it's Hoffman for the 9th, who has 3 consecutive scoreless outings for the Brewers.
And 5 out of his last 6 appearances have been scoreless. He's been able to locate his fastball better, and the changeup's been down in the strike zone.
Craig Gentry will lead off for Texas. Gentry, the speedy Rangers center fielder. Quickly down on the count, 0-2 on Trevor Hoffman. It's not out of the question that Hoffman could return to the closer's role at some point, but John Axford has been succeeding in that role, and Hoffman has been pitching sparingly, trying to rebuild confidence, and went to the repair shop, quote unquote, as Ken Maka put it, while he stayed on the active roster. Can't be easy for Trevor Hoffman.
No, it's not easy for anybody. It really isn't. Well, you know, the Brewers organization would love to see Trevor get those 600 saves, and you know, it's still early yet in the season. You know, as things go on, you never know what can happen, and you would imagine that at some point, some way, You have to feel that Trevor's got 4 saves left in him.
Well, it has been a stated goal. He'd like to get there. 600. That one is lined in the left. A 2-strike hit. And Gentry will hold at first base. That's a single. Leadoff hit for the Rangers. They keep the pressure on. Texas now with 8 hits. Julio Bourbon will pinch hit.
Yeah, it's about that location of that fastball. You saw Trevor try to get that one in on Gentry, but just couldn't do it. Left it out over the plate, and he doesn't have the velocity to be able to get away with pitches down the middle.
Bourbon drops a bunt down. And McGee's throw is late. Bunt single for Julio Bourbon. Perfectly placed.
That was a nice bunt. I mean, deadened it beautifully right in front of home plate. Well, Lucroy, I would imagine that looked like his ball. I'm not sure if he knew where it was. That bunt goes down. Jonathan kind of taking it back. Wasn't sure where it was initially. And Casey McGee had a long way to go to get there. And once you saw that happen, no way Bourbon's going to get thrown out.
Top of the order now with 2 on. Andrews drops down a bunt. Got to hurry here. McGee's throw is just in time to get Elvis Andrews.
You guys can bunt a little bit. Those are 2 beautiful sacrifice bunts in a league that you don't really see a whole lot of sacrifice bunts. I mean, normally it's more of a banging league. You got the DH, not much bunting going on. But 2 beauties right down the third baseline. Well, the Texas Rangers have more sacrifice bunts than any team in the American League, and looking at the statistics.
They're built a lot like a National League ball club. They have so much speed in their lineup, but they also have the power in their lineup. And it works because Washington's offense, they know their roles. The bunters know when to bunt. Case in point with Julio Bourbon and Elvis Andrews. Now Hoffman will walk Michael Young to load the bases. Brewers will take a chance to load him up, set up a double play opportunity to get Trevor out of the inning. Ian Kinsler will bat for the Rangers. 4-1 Texas, top of the 9th. Kinsler has 2 of the 9 Ranger hits, both singles, and he scored twice. Won't take much to get Gentry home on a fly ball. He's very fast.
And with the way Kinsler runs, the Brewers have their infield in halfway up the middle. They'll make a decision as to whether they're going to go for 2 based on how hard the ball is hit.
And a pop-up. Shallow right. Weeks is back. Hard wants it. See if Gentry goes. He stops. So an out without advancing the base runners. Big for Trevor Hoffman. That's the second out of the inning. And now the infield can back up to regular depth. Two outs. Josh Hamilton with the bases loaded. Boy, this sets up some kind of matchup.
Yeah.
The man who makes his living with power against a man who makes his living with anything but. Hamilton is already homered in this game.
Well, home run and 3 strikeouts.
It's about right.
It's still a good day for any hitter.
Swings to the first pitch. He popped him up. Escobar's out. He'll make the call, and he's got it. Trevor Hoffman strands the bases loaded. Here we go to the bottom of the 9th. Do the Brewers have one in them tonight? Gallardo on the mound for the Brewers. Rangers closer Neftali Feliz is on the mound, and he is a good one.
Only 22 years old. He took over in week 3 this year. And we talked about the problems for Frank Francisco, and he's a hard thrower. I mean, he's just going to come at you with hard stuff. He can hit triple digits when he gets going. So the Brewers are going to have to dial it up here against Neftali Feliz.
There is tomorrow's starter, Fort Worth, Texas native Yovani Gallardo, against Colby Lewis, who has pitched like an ace this year. Lewis spent the last 2 seasons in Japan, in Hiroshima, and he'll match up against Gallardo for the finale. Gallardo has now moved inside the top 10 in earned run average in the National League. So that's the matchup tomorrow. The Brewers perhaps hoping to give it to Gallardo with a chance at a sweep, but it's going to take a comeback tonight. Down 3 as we head to the bottom of the 9th. Jim Edmonds leads off. Edmonds, Lucroy, and Escobar. Feliz still classified as a rookie despite pitching in the big leagues for a couple of months last year. He did not have enough appearances to qualify, so you have to think he's in the picture for American League Rookie of the Year with his fantastic start. That's what you call easy cheese right there.
And nice fluid delivery. The ball just explodes out of his hand. It really sneaks up on a hitter. You know, some guys, give the effort when they throw, 95 to 97. This guy just kind of is nice and easy, and it comes right at you.
Scott Feldman in line for the win. He watches from the Rangers dugout. 6 shutout innings tonight, 6 strikeouts. And a big sigh of relief for Rangers fans everywhere with that start. They've been looking for that for a while.
Well, it looked to me as though Feldman was a little bit more aggressive with his fastball. First couple of innings maybe not, but later on he was really pounding that fastball in on the Brewer hitters and had a lot of success with it. Went more with the running fastball in the latter part of his start as opposed to that cutter.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Edmonds. He doubled back in the 4th. And he beats one in the ground to first. Smoke will make the play. 1 gone here in the 9th. Feliz hasn't pitched much lately. This is just his 5th appearance in the last 20 days. Did pick up the final 2 outs against the Mariners on Wednesday.
The impressive thing about Feliz, only 22 years old. I mean, he's got the big arm, but he's only walked 8 this year. I mean, that's pretty good command for a young kid. 27 innings, 29 strikeouts, only 8 walks.
Lucroy, the batter. Lucroy with 2 hits. A breaking ball from Feliz. I think originally the Rangers thought Feliz would end up in that closer's role perhaps next year. But Francisco struggled early. And Feliz has pitched well. Once he got a hold of that closer's spot, he's taken advantage of it. Rangers bullpen has been a big part of their success this year. Sitting a half game ahead in the American League West to start the day. Lucroy down the right field line. That drops fair. And another base hit to the opposite field for Jonathan Lucroy. A 3-hit game. The first of his career.
Well, they haven't played over there. Had Murphy shaded a lot toward that right field line. Still able to dump it in there. Brewers need base runners. There's one. They need another. How about a bloop and a blast here? A nice swing by Jonathan Lucroy. Takes a couple of fastballs and then slices one just inside that right field line for a 1-out single.
So Lucroy at first, Escobar at the plate.
Everything he's hit today has gone to the right side. A base hit down the first base line. He grounded out to first, and 2 base hits to right.
Very similar defensive alignment for Escobar. The Rangers outfielder swung all the way around, protecting the opposite field. Look at all that room down the left field line.
Yeah. Well, Josh Hamilton way around. I mean, to the center field side of the gap out there in left center. I guess not expecting Escobar to pull the baseball.
You see the bare spot over there? That's where the left fielder normally stands.
Yeah, right there. Is that the bare spot you're talking about?
That's it. Good eye. And Josh Hamilton, not even close. Now the breaking ball. 2-1 on Escobar.
Don't tell Gary Vandenberg and his crew that there's a bare spot out there. That's more of a worn area.
Worn area. That's not his fault. Slight discoloration.
Yeah. Still looks good.
3-1 the count.
There we go, one more. We'll get that tying run to the plate.
Pitcher spot due up next. Joe Inglet already in that spot. Lost him, and here we go.
Well, not even close on that pitch. That'll get Mike Maddox to the phones very quickly. Not showing a lot of confidence in his closer.
How about that?
I mean, right away he's going to make a trip to the mound. That didn't take long.
A quick call to the bullpen. So Maddox makes the call and then makes a trip to the mound here with his closer. Tying run is coming up. And Chris Ray begins to get loose. I think it serves 2 purposes for the Rangers. It shows you that they have an option back there, and it provides as a little stimulation, if you will, for Neftali Feliz.
Well, maybe there's something up with Feliz. You talked about the fact that he hadn't been pitching all that much. 5 outings in 20 days. There might be something going on with him. That's why they might be calling down to the bullpen so quickly.
So Feliz in trouble here. The tying run steps in. Joe Inglet does not have a home run this year, but has some pop in his bat, believe it or not. He's been terrific off the bench. Inglet has 9 hits as a pinch hitter this year. He's 9 for 26. A .346 average as a pinch hitter. That includes 2 triples. Matter of fact, his first 2 pinch hits were triples. Almost hit him.
Yeah, he's missing badly.
Well, you can tell Washington and Maddox keeping a close eye on their closer here. Top of the order is coming up next. The home run hitters are in the wings as Inglet takes ball 3. In there for a strike. Just an easy little get over 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, it took a little off. I'll take another one, Joe. Why not?
40,000 on their feet at Miller Park. 3-1 pitch. Way inside. Ball 4. The bases are loaded in the ninth.
Well, Chris Ray is ready. And we'll see what the Rangers want to do. I mean, Feliz hadn't been close in the last 2 hitters.
Obviously not right.
How about now the homer?
But he will stay. A long ball here. This game is over. Ricky Weeks has never had a grand slam in the big leagues. 4 of the last 6 wins at home for the Crew has come in their final at bat. Off the plate.
Well, not going to help him. He's not throwing strikes. Pretty close.
Ricky's had a good night tonight. 2 hits, 2 doubles. He scored a run. Tying run at first. And a strike on the outside corner. 97 miles an hour, and Feliz snatches the ball out of the air. Rangers outfielders extremely deep, trying to prevent the extra base hit. Another one on the corner. That's 2 perfectly placed pitches by Feliz.
Look how deep those outfielders are. I mean, they're literally scraping the warning track.
Big spot for Weeks. He almost hit one out his last time up. That was with 2 strikes. Stays alive.
Yeah, Trainer just got crossed up again. He was looking for a slider. He just bailed out of there. I think Gary Cedarstrom, if that ball wasn't fouled off, might have got hit again. Check out Trainer. Wow. Yeah, I mean, he had no idea fastball was coming. He was looking for a slider there.
Can you imagine if Weeks doesn't foul that pitch off?
Yeah.
That does serious damage. So obviously Trainer wanted a breaking ball. See what he goes with here. Ball and 2 strikes. Bases loaded. And Weeks lines one to right. A base hit. Lucroy will score. And Escobar will hold. Escobar was being waved home with the outfielders so deep, but he wasn't looking at Brad Fisher. He stopped.
No, Brad Fisher stopped him and then told him to go, but that time then it was too late. Yeah, the throw came into second base. The throw wasn't even coming into home plate. I guess it really doesn't matter, other than the fact that you have a force at any base at this point.
Well, what it does, it sends Ron Washington to the mound. His closer is out. Neftali Feliz, 2 hits and 2 walks. The Brewers have the tying run at second base. We'll take a timeout. Stay with us.
just thinking about getting the ball into second base, keeping England at second, not allowing him to get to third base. A little confusion at third. But the last thing you want to do, if there's any confusion, just stay right there. You don't want to stop and then start and get thrown out at the plate.
That's a good point. What it does for the Rangers, it allows Washington to go to the sinker baller Chris Ray with the bases loaded. Ray pitched yesterday, had a scoreless 7th inning.
And all 3 ground balls. That's what they're looking for, the double play ball here.
A double play would end it. A base hit would tie it. Inglett's at second representing the tying run, and Ray misses hanging outside. How about this for an ending?
Yeah. Keep it going. Well, you got the part of the order that you want to have up.
The National League's home run leader at the plate in Corey Hart. Two balls, no strikes.
You know, the Texas Rangers are in a tough spot. They're positioning their outfield to prevent against the winning run. Obviously, the outfield very deep. Joe England not running at 100%, but the outfield as deep as they are, pretty good chance he's going to be able to score on any base hit, unless it's a one hopper right at one of the outfielders.
Chris Ray has not been in a save situation all year. 2-0 is the count, and Hart took a swat at it, fouls it away. He was aggressive at 2-0. Now the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Ray was the closer with the Orioles, but you got to go back to the 07 season. It's been a while for him. 3 balls and a strike. Hitters count for Hart. A base hit ties it. A long ball wins it. And Hart rolls one to third. Young to second. The turn by Kinsler, not in time. A run scores. The inning continues. But the Brewers still down a run. 2 outs now. It is 4-3 Texas.
Good job by Ricky Weeks getting down to second base, disrupting that double play. And Justin Smoke did the right thing. He came off the bag, didn't try and keep his foot on the bag. Really not a double play ball with Corey running. Look at Ricky going in. Smoke has to leave the bag to make sure the ball doesn't go to the screen. That ball gets by him. It's a tie game.
So here we go. Fielder up there with 2 outs. Tying run at third. He heads up for the wild pitch. Ball 1. It has been a rough night for Fielder. He can wipe it all away with a base hit here. Two balls, no strikes.
That'd be alive for Corey Hart to try and steal second base. Probably not on a 2-0 pitch. When he gets to 2-1, look for him to run.
Braun would be next. Fielder should get something to handle here. The 2-0. Prince had a mighty cut.
Yeah, had a good pitch to hit. It was a 95-mile-an-hour fastball up in the zone. Right down the middle.
Does he have a 4th in him? 3 balls and a strike. Well, if you're a Brewer hitter at this point, you just have to sit on the fastball. Ray's been unable to get the breaking ball over.
Yep, Feliz wasn't able to throw one over at the plate, and Chris Ray as well.
Braun would be next. What does he do with Prince? Doing a curveball for a strike. Wow. Big league pitch right there from Chris Ray.
Wow. Boy, how do you throw that? First one he's thrown in the inning. A 3-1 slider that barely caught the outside corner.
Now Hart will be on the move here. He takes off the 3-2. Fielder pops it up. Trainer is back at the screen. That is in the seats. And Fielder has a new life.
Well, Prince just not able to lay off that high fastball. That was ball 4. Well, with 2 strikes in this situation, you can't blame them for going after it.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Corey Hart, the potential winning run, will be on the move with the pitch. Tying run at third. There he goes. Fielder in the air to left field. Back is Hamilton with room. And this game is over. The Brewers come up 1 run short as Ray comes on to pick up his first save of the year. Feldman the winner. The Brewers put up a valiant effort, but they come up short. And a 4-3 win for the Texas Rangers. That'll do it for us tonight. Our final score, 4-3. Rubber game tomorrow with Gallardo on the mound. Brewers baseball returns to Fox Sports Wisconsin. They'll wrap up the series with the Rangers. Coverage begins at 12:30 from Brewers Live. Coming